Welcome to Americana Country Interview. I'm your host, Jay Preston. Interview features chats with artists you hear weekly on our radio show, Americana Country. Now heard on 7 stations in Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, and worldwide on your favorite streaming services. Today we welcome Kathryn Fox and Chad Elliott, collectively known as Weary Ramblers. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hey, we're great,
Hello,
Jay.
very good.
And where you guys tuning in from?
I'm in Creston, Iowa, so Southwest Iowa, and
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
then
I'm in Jefferson, Iowa, about an hour north.
Well, that was going to be my next question. You guys seem like you play a lot in Iowa. Are you from originally in Iowa?
I am originally from Iowa,
Hmm.
but
I'm originally from Wisconsin, South Central
Wisconsin? Well,
Wisconsin.
and I was going to say, it seems like you play a few dates in Wisconsin and that general area. How did you, first of all, where did the name Weary Ramblers come from? How did that come about?
Yeah, well, Chad and I were trying to figure out what kind of band name we wanted, and we were sitting in a gas station parking lot, which happens a lot. Um, and I was like, this song's been ringing through my head. I want you to hear it. I have a feeling that maybe this feels like it connects with us, and
Hmm.
it's an Asleep at the Wheel tune called "Weary Rambler,"
Hmm.
and we were listening to it, and it just sounded kind of like the story of our lives, um,
Mhm.
and we just knew, okay, "Weary Ramblers." It was
Yeah,
there. It was pretty
Yeah,
immediate. So
yeah. So Weary Ramblers was born.
yeah.
that's right.
How long have you guys been playing together?
We've been together since around 2021. We've been doing this, so 3.5 years we've been performing. At first, it started as we're just going to kind of share the bill as two separate artists, and we were kind of like instantly knew we were like this really works well together. Our voices blend well, our
Hmm.
taste in music, or it's kind of a perfect fit. And so it wasn't long after that we started tossing around ideas of duo names.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have many, many accolades from a whole bunch of folks. It says Weary Ramblers bring years of experience to the stage with award-winning songwriting and chemistry. Chad Elliott and Kathryn Fox showcase multi-instrumental performances with tight harmonies and great storytelling, and that the list goes on and on and on. And well, of course, you've read that before. It's on your website. But yeah, I love your album. Let's see, I've got it here somewhere. Well, I've got the CD, and
Yeah.
been playing the
Yay.
heck out of it, and
You have.
just
Thank
about
you.
every cut on it. I think my favorite was originally was Sweet Hazel Green, and I played that quite often, and got quite a few
Awesome.
requests for that one. We have a little town called Hazel Green in our listening area, so
Oh,
that
wow.
might have influenced a few of the requests. But love it. Love your videos on YouTube and your live gigs that you've shared with us on Facebook. And I know you're working on a new album project, and we'll get to that here in just a few more minutes. Let me ask you, Kathryn, you first. What were some of your early influences? I know you played with a whole bunch of folks, and the list starts with George Benson and goes on from there. Who were some of your early influences?
Man, that's really tough to say because I came from the classical world really early in my life, and was pretty much solely that until like 22, 23.
Mhm.
And but I guess I would say jazz standards were my earliest influence. I was listening to Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, and I just was in love with jazz and with that style of singing and writing, and
Mhm.
fascinated by the idea of making up music, improvising, and not reading stuff on a sheet of paper. And so I guess that's probably my earliest influence would be that.
How about you,
Yeah.
Chad?
I was listening to the 70s singer-songwriters. I was heavy into the James Taylors, the Cat Stevens, and things like that. And then I got into the writers. When I started writing songs, I started listening to folk singers like Greg Brown and Towns Van Zandt, the whole Texas scene, and
Yeah,
I fell
yeah,
into that. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, Towns, towards the end of his career, moved to Nashville, lived right outside of Nashville. And unfortunately, when he passed away, he was here in this area. But
yeah.
anyway, what a great writer and some great
Yeah.
influences for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you guys, Kathryn, you said you had been in the studio with several people. Let's talk about, first of all, well, let me back up a little bit. Kathryn, did you come from a musical family?
Yes, I did. Both my parents are now retired high school choir directors.
Oh,
And I have a bunch of opera singers and classical piano players in my
wow.
family. But I also have an aunt and uncle in Colorado that played with John McEwen several times. They have a band called Runaway Express.
Hmm.
So that was kind of this alternate universe that I would look over at and be like, wow, this is so cool. This is never going to be me.
Yeah.
And so now actually that very aunt is creating our album artwork for the second album. So
Very nice. Very
pretty
nice. How
cool.
about you, Chad?
No, not really. I was definitely a lot of creatives in my family. The only music was my grandfather. He was a great singer in church and musical theater and
Yeah.
sang great lullabies. That's about all the music I have.
Catherine, you mentioned John McEwen. We actually did an interview, Americana Country interview with John McEwen a few months back, and he was a great guy, very, very nice, very welcoming, and always great in concert. Had some
Yeah.
great behind the scenes nitty gritty dirt band stories too. So
Oh, I can only imagine.
yeah. Well, some of your early influences. How about you talked about some of the bands you were influences with. Catherine, were you in some early rock and roll bands, country bands, or some jazz bands?
Listening wise, do you mean that I
Yeah.
was listening to? Yeah. I had kind of a varied upbringing with listening. My mom was listening to people like the Monkees and the Eagles, and then I ended up playing with the Eagles, and she was like freaking out, and I was freaking out because she was freaking out. It was
Yeah.
just a cool moment, but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I guess like 60s and 70s stuff. I was really into the Beatles for a while too. And to be honest, I didn't really get into country all that much until I moved to Iowa, and then I became super obsessed with country music,
Hmm.
where it's almost difficult to write a song that doesn't have country influence anymore. So, yeah, it's just kind of all over the map. But now I'm obsessed with, Alison Krauss
Yeah.
and
Aren't we all?
yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
Well, if you're into the country music scene, Catherine, do you put on your cowboy boots and your hat while you're writing, or?
Uh, you know, I'm probably a fraud, I guess, because I don't fall into the typical look of that. I think that's something that Chad and I both kind of have gotten comfortable with the fact that we jump around to different genres anyway, and so there's no like one look that really suits us.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
kind of just dress how we want to dress and
Yeah.
and then write how we want to write, I guess.
Right,
So
right. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I've seen, in some of your accolades, it talks about you are in the newgrass subgenre of bluegrass,
mhm.
the new hip contemporary folk music, and I've seen several other different variations of that. But hey, there's nothing wrong with being late if you got to have a label. Nothing wrong with either of those. But how about you, Chad?
What was the question about the country music? Or
But well, let's just go with that. When you sit down and write, are you at home? Are you on the bus, traveling to a gig? What's your
yeah,
influences? How do you write?
everywhere, all the time. I wrote one today.
Yeah.
I sit down at the desk if I'm home and I drink a cup of coffee, and it's usually after the kids go to school, and I'll sit down and try. If I'm on the road, it's Catherine will have a mandolin on it, riding shotgun, and we'll just start spitting out lyrics, trying to come up with something. And
Yeah.
so it feels like that's been my focus all these 30 years of just constantly songwriting and getting better and
Yeah.
sharpening my tool as a writer. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, John Prine used to say he wrote best in motel rooms, so I guess he was used
yeah,
to being out on the road all the time. Well, you
uh,
guys,
every
oh,
yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
every hotel room, they have those. They still have those little tablets that you can write in. So there's those prime for songwriting.
Exactly, exactly. Well, you guys co-produced this lovely album that I've been playing the heck out of, and you got quite a few. You got 12 cuts on this one, and Kathryn, it says you play just about everything on the whole album. Just kidding. And
Well, not all the fancy guitar playing though, because this guy over here
Chad was
is.
playing the acoustic guitars, and you both doing the vocals and harmonies. And it looks like you got a great lineup. Looks like you were produced or co-produced by Brian Vanderpool at the producing booth, as well as you guys were producing, and released a year ago. Does it seem like a year ago already? It doesn't to me.
No, it doesn't.
You guys have been crazy busy on the road, so I can imagine it was probably it's probably gone by very, very quickly for you. Kathryn, give us a few behind the scenes stories of some of the other folks that I mentioned Benson that you had done. You mentioned the Eagles. Who are some of the other folks that you have gigged with in the past, and give us maybe some inside information.
Oh boy.
If you're allowed to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some of them it's NDAs for sure. Like I think with the Eagles, I had to sign an NDA.
Yeah.
But I did a really cool benefit concert. It was for brain cancer benefit concert with, it had a whole slew of people. Like it had the Beach Boys, Gloria Gaynor, who's like the I Will Survive lady, in case anyone doesn't know the name.
Right.
And the Osmond Brothers and
okay, let me
Lou
stop
Gramm,
you there.
So
let me stop you there. Eagles, Benson, Osmond Brothers. What were you doing with the Osmond Brothers?
that was for that brain cancer benefit concert. Yeah. So
Okay.
I was part of this kind of like mini orchestra. It's really honestly very cool when these artists, when they go into different towns, that they do value using the local musicians. And so I respect that a lot about artists that are willing to hire people in that area to add that element to their show. So
Yeah, I've noticed the same thing. A lot of bands, or a lot of artists, single artists that tour around will call somebody up that they know in that particular town, Nashville. Everybody knows somebody in Nashville, or quite a few people in Nashville, and they get together a band, or get them to get a band together, a backing band, and it seems to work out. All right, let's get to the album now. You've been touring in support of this album for quite a while. I'm obviously since it came out back August last year, 2024. I mean, you've been touring like crazy around Iowa, Wisconsin. I think you did. You were in Missouri. My wife and I, who's sitting right over there, we were on vacation last year, and I think you were coming to Missouri, and I said, "Oh, let's go see him." Then we realized it was 5 hours away, so we said, "Well, maybe we'll miss him this time." But anyway, that was my phone ringing. Sorry about that. But, and I'm adjusting my glasses. Just got new ones today, but the lenses fell out, so I can barely see you. But anyway, the debut album is looking great on the charts. You've got all kinds of accolades for it too. Tell me the process you guys got together. How long, and back to writing again, how long did it take you to get to 12 songs ready to put down on in the studio?
Didn't take long. We were writing right away. We wrote 3 songs the first time we ever sat down.
Yeah.
And we write continually, all the time. So we have enough for probably 4 albums right now if we really wanted to do it. But we're kind of picking the cream of the crop, obviously. And also just thematically, when you're putting an album together, you want it to blend together well. And so that takes some time too to decide and figure that out. But as far as having a treasure trove of songs, we have it. We've got a lot of stuff that we do live because we fill out. Sometimes we'll play 4 hours, and we have enough stuff to do that.
So you don't have to go back and do Louie Louie or something, huh?
No.
or an old monkey song. Yeah. So did you guys? You said you had plenty of tunes to lay down when you're on your first album. And so you're working on your second album, I've been told. Somebody told me that. It might have been Kathy, might have been Chad. But when are the finishing touches going to be on that? And let me back up just a little bit. How was your experience going into the studio? And I don't know, was this your first experience going in and recording an album?
Well, Chad's done this a million times. You want to start, Chad?
Oh, no, yeah, I've done 26 albums, so it's definitely not my first time.
This is old school for you.
Yeah. And it's really great because we have this great studio called Golden Bear recording studios in Des Moines. It's local, but it's also just world class. You know,
Yeah.
Brian's a genius behind the helm, and so this was the first time going in as a writer, though. That was amazing to work with Kathryn on these, because she's got, obviously, on the credits you saw the instruments she could play,
Right.
but also first time I can say, let's do string arrangements on this. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
Kathryn takes care of all that.
Yeah, yeah. So Kathryn, you're in charge of arranging everything. And speaking of, and Chad, you were mentioning this too. You talking about all of the songs together. It definitely has to have. These are things that people don't think about: the flow of the album, the sequencing of the album, that type of thing. And a lot of thought goes into that, so it does flow together. Kathryn, you've been on a lot of albums and played with a lot of folks as well. How many albums do you know that you
Yeah, well,
recorded?
I've recorded on a lot of albums that weren't mine,
Right,
so
right.
I did record my first album a couple years ago, but I was fairly green even still with this first album of ours, having it be a very personal experience. So yeah, it is definitely very different walking in there, adding on someone else's songs, than it is walking in and you have like all of these dreams and ideas invested in what's to come.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's also kind of this magical playground that we get to work in. So
Right. Well, you know in your head what you want it to sound like. And
mhm.
being, since you're an arranger, you can kind of help in the process, both being great musicians. You can tell your producer or co-producer exactly what it's going, and they can nudge you, I guess, in one way or the other, and then you can agree or not.
Yeah, and it's fun too because there are times where Chad and Brian will also sing things to me and be like, "Oh, try this kind of idea." Like even the intro to Tall Virginia Tree, that wasn't my idea. Chad was just like, "Hey, try some Appalachian vibe thing
Right.
out of time." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, let's try it." But I
Pretend,
would have never thought of that.
pretend like the Carter family is here in the room, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yes, yeah,
Well, you guys
exactly.
played Americana Fest last year. Will we be seeing you guys at the middle of September at Americana Fest in 2025?
Not this year. We
Oh, okay.
have a bunch of shows that are elsewhere. We will be in Nashville for the Josie Awards because we have a few nominations with that.
Right.
But yeah, we won't be there for that this time around.
Well,
But
brag on yourself while we're talking about the Josie Awards. Brag on yourself. You grabbed a bunch of nominations. Tell me which categories you're in.
yeah, oh my gosh, actually, let me
You're going to
Yeah,
have to
you got those.
no.
look at the website quick.
Yeah, I've got it. Here it is. Okay. Duo of the Year in the Americana category.
Right.
Song of the Year, Americana Duo Group. And then Music Video of the Year, which is for our Hidden Road music video.
Yeah,
So,
very nice. Yeah, that
yeah.
was very nice. You guys help produce the videos as well?
Not
Not
really.
really. Yeah.
Yeah, we hired somebody local that's a great filmmaker here, independent filmmaker,
Right.
Hannah Rosalie Wright. She's just a brilliant, filmmaker, but she came at it at a different perspective than either one of us was thinking, and
Right.
we loved it. Yeah, created the storyline
Right.
to the song, and
Yeah.
we popped in for a cameo at the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. You talking about different angles for music videos. When music videos first came out in the '80s, became popular in the '80s. It just seemed like some of the videos had nothing to do with the lyrics at all, and it's kind of you're kind of looking and scratching your head, loving the song if you close your eyes, but it kind of was confusing. But
Yeah.
then and still that happens a little bit, but it's nice. It's nice to see sometimes the music video go along with the story and the song in the
Yeah.
lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay, the new album. Do we have a title yet?
Yes, it is titled Driftwood.
Driftwood. Very nice. Were you on the beach one day and just saw some driftwood and it's an album title?
Well, actually, we wrote the title track, which is Driftwood. We wrote it in Nashville.
Nice.
So, yeah, it just happens that it's home is where y'all are at. So it was during the Americana Fest awards time that we drove in. We're pretty much sleepless. Drove in to play a couple sets, and a friend of ours from Iowa happened to be there. He seems to be everywhere. And he was like, "Hey, I'm working the Americana Fest awards show. Do you all want to, go see it?" And yeah, Chad, you tell us better than I do, I think.
We're like, yeah, sure. He knew that we probably would have to sit apart because he was just grabbing seats, and then we got in line at the Ryman, and he was like, we got a text saying, "Hey, do you want Dwight Yoakam's seats? He's not going to use them." We're like, those got to be pretty good. And so we got to sit in Dwight's seats, surrounded by all our heroes, sitting next to Warren Treaty, Dave Alvin's behind us.
Nice.
Jimmy Dale Gilmore, and
Yeah.
it was great. And then he texted us and said, "Come backstage after the show." And so we got to go backstage, and we got hanging out with a lot of those people like Rodney Crowell and stuff in that back hallway. And then I ran into Emmylou Harris, and I
nice.
turned to Kat. It turned into Kat. I literally bumped into her, and I said, "Kathryn, we got to go write a song with this arm right here."
Yeah.
Quick.
Yes,
quick,
yeah.
before it rubs off.
Yeah, you were rubbing elbows, as they say, with some pretty nice company there.
Yes.
Yeah. So we wrote Driftwood in the hotel that night after that event. So
Well, the new album Driftwood, when can we expect it, or do you have a release date, or as they say now, a drop date?
Yes. Well, I didn't get to send them to Chad yet, but we actually just last night got the album artwork possibilities. So as soon as we approve that, then we can start making the production of it happen by making all the merch and everything. But the release date itself, I think, is going to be probably the end of October.
End of October. Okay.
I don't have an exact date yet, but I will definitely make it very public.
I'm hoping to get a copy. Can I get a copy, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'd appreciate that. Yeah. And it'll probably be the day it dropped. It'll probably be on all of the streaming platforms, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get things out to, we have Bill Wentz is our radio promoter. And so, and so I try to get all that stuff to him before it drops on streaming so that he can kind of get some buzz going first.
Right. I talked to Bill today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's always pushing somebody, so.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely make sure you get something.
Great. So, can I get an autograph too, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
of course.
Great. Yeah. Sounds good. I'll be looking forward to that the end of October. Before I let you guys go, let me ask you one more thing. Who are you listening to right now, besides your own record? Who are you listening to right now? Chad, how about you first?
Oh, man. Well, I was literally just listening to Dave Alvin this morning, so I'm
great
into
choice.
the Texas songwriters,
Yeah, great choice. Great choice.
Man, actually, on my way home last night, I was listening to Sam Bush because he played on this album of ours. So I was listening to some of his stuff. But yeah, I've been feeling him lately for sure when he's put out. So.
Which album, or just a little bit of all of Sam's stuff?
It was just like a mix, like a radio. The
Sam Bush radio play.
That's
well,
right.
and I was also listening to Howlin' at the Moon because my uncle, Jim Ratz, wrote that song.
Oh, really?
And so, like, he and Sam Bush have this whole relationship too. So it's been this kind of really fun, like, family. Like love fest. So
I've known Sam since the early 70s when Newgrass Revival started. And I was in Bowling Green radio back in those days, back at the dark ages. And got to meet him when in the beginning, as they say. And in fact, Sam is also on an Americana Country interview. If you guys want to check it out. But anyway, he's a great guy, and we look forward to the brand new album, Driftwood, coming out at the end of October. Let me ask you this, one more similar question. Kathryn, have you bought an album lately? And if so, who is it?
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess the most recent one was I'm With Her.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yes, that's the most recent album I bought.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw them play on CBS Saturday morning. They did an excellent job there. The
Ooh,
new
they
album is good
are.
too. And what a lineup. What a, a great trio.
Mm,
How about you,
hmm
Chad? What have you bought?
Well, I did a Kickstarter campaign. I bought Mark Curry's album. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he's working on a new album. So
Yeah.
it's coming out.
Nice. Nice. Very nice. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much, Kathryn. Thank you so much, Chad, for joining us today on Americana Country Interview. We appreciate it. Looking forward to the brand new album, Driftwood, coming out end of October. Thank you so much for joining us from Iowa. Way up in Iowa. You've been watching Americana Country Interview. I'm Jay Preston. We'll see you guys next time.